Hope everybody's doing great. Welcome to my channel. I haven't done that in a while. I kind of assume that people know me. My name is James Parker. I'm a full-time landscape photographer, live in the Pacific Northwest. Today, I'm up on the Washington coast and I'm hiking down to a location that's been off limits for a long time, and they recently redid the access trail to make it safe again. And it's a really fantastic location for on the coast. It's a little cove, and the sky is I came on the best day that I could. It's been really wet and rainy for a way long time, so I'm not sure what we're going to get for a sunset, but my fingers are crossed. Anything is possible in the Pacific Northwest. I've learned that no matter what, the clouds can break at the last possible second, the sun poke out, and the sky just turn into this amazing sunset. And I've seen it where it looks super promising, and at the last minute, a marine layer robs you of any color and glory for your photograph. So it could go either way, but again, you don't know until you try. This is my first time photographing this. Like I said, it's been off limits. I haven't been able to even go to it. So I scouted it a little earlier today so that I wouldn't be rushed for time. It's not a long hike. And so once I get down there, I'll show you what it looks like. So this is called Dead Man's Cove, and what makes it so attractive for me is the fact that right in the middle of it, it's not a big cove, but right in the middle of it is a small island, and it's got a single tree growing out of it. Sorry, I got a little close. But there's a single tree growing out of it. As I said, I was down here earlier, and so I pretty much know where I'm kind of going to be. The tide is low right now, and it's going to start coming in. It's not going to make too big of an impact as long as I've still got water that goes around the front of the island. That's the important thing I think for the photograph to work. Before, the tide was a little higher when I was up here, and I was thinking about maybe getting a little bit higher vantage point up on the hill and kind of zoom in a little bit, because the thing is, when you are fine-tuning a composition, when you've got time, and I do have a little bit of time before sunset, and it's still a big, who knows what's, if I can get just a little glow, I'll be happy, just a little glow. But when you're fine-tuning a composition like this, and you've got the time, you really want to try different elevations and right to left, because the idea for this is to have that island so that it's not intersecting, I don't know if I can do this with one hand, but you don't want it intersecting like my face and my hand, right? You want to have some space on either side of it so that you can see the walls of the little cove, the island in the middle, and then walls over here, and a little bit of water that goes around it. And because it's low tide, and because it's just not that big of a cove, it may not be possible to get the best composition down physically on the beach. I might have to get a little bit higher up on this hill behind me. So I've got time, and I'll get set up and kind of fine-tune things and hope for the best as far as the light goes. I moved up the hill simply because it was impossible to get the separation that I needed with the little island in the middle of the cove when I was down at the beach. And it also allows me to zoom in a little bit more and get above a lot of the beach that is just not that interesting and fill the frame with all the stuff that is. So let me show you the composition and kind of walk you through just my thoughts. So I'm going to overexpose this a bit, so hopefully you'll be able to see it on the back of the camera. But the important thing for me was to have water that went around both sides of that little island, and separation between this side and, as much as I could, this side. So there's no way I can get this little bitty bit right there to be separated, because if I move any more to my right, then this is going to intersect. And so I just did the best I could of centering it and making it as aesthetically pleasing as I can. So now it's just a matter of waiting to see if the sun that is way up over here, it's setting behind these trees on this side of the cove. But if anything happens up in there, right now it's not very exciting at all. And I've got very low expectations for anything magnificent. But if I can get just a little bit of glow, any kind of color, up in there, it's going to help make the photograph just amazing. It really, really, really is. And if it doesn't, then it is what it is. You'll also notice that in the very back, it's probably hard to see in the video, but in the very back there is another spit of land out way on the way out in that's like the bay before you get to the entrance to the Columbia River before you get to the Pacific Ocean. And that's a little less visible when you are down on the beach, and it's obviously more visible being up here, but I still think this is going to be the better vantage point than down on the beach. Sunset's about 5 minutes away, and as you can see, it's not much. It's just, it is what it is. A lot of landscape photography is being disappointed. But then again, the chase and then making it, when it does happen, it's so exciting, and you feel so much accomplishment when the light kicks off and you're in the right place and you've set up and you've got everything ready to go and you're in the right place at the right time and the light happens and it's awesome. And unfortunately tonight I am in the right place at the right time, but the light is just awful. Well, not awful. It's just it's not that great. Well, maybe you can see me just a little bit. Headed back to the campground. No great light, but it was still a great location. And I'll show you my best photograph from tonight, right now. Here's my photograph from the first night. I did the best I could with the sky, but the glare on the water was a little bit overpowering, and no matter what I did with my polarizer, it did not help. So I went ahead and I converted it to black and white. I'd like to know what you think. Which one do you like better, the black and white or the color? Leave me a comment below. It's as predicted. It is raining and totally gray, and no sunrise, obviously, no nothing. So I'm gonna drive into Ocean View and have some breakfast. Round two, so this is the second sunset. Conditions are marginally better. By that I mean there's a little bit of blue sky way up there. Again, same composition, same place, same settings. I went down and I took a few shots down at the beach a lot closer, and I really don't like being even with the water, level with the water I should say. I like being elevated up and being able to look down because I get to see a lot more of the interest, and the wave action is a lot more today. So I see a lot more interest happening on the sides of the cove as those waves come in. If I was down at the beach level, I wouldn't be able to see that nearly as well. So that's gonna add some interest over last night's photo as well. The tide is much higher than it was last night as well, which I like better. So again, this is overall, the conditions are better than last night. So sunset's gonna happen in just a little bit, and if something happens, you'll be the first to know, second to know. So it's actually clearing just a little bit above the tree. It's starting to light up just a little bit. So I'm amazed that that anything at all is happening, but it is. And so I'm just kind of riding this shutter, making sure I don't blow out my highlights at all. And then every once in a while, I'm gonna just dial in an exposure for my foreground. And that way I'm not gonna miss the light because it's changing very, very fast. Well, the sun is set and my best shots I think are behind me. I think I got a couple that are it's definitely better than last night, and I'll take that any day, you know, as having a little bit better. I like the wave action better, I had better light, I had better spots with a little bit more color, a little bit of blue. So I think these photos tonight are going to come out better than last night, but I'll let you be the judge. So here are my shots from Dead Man's Cove in Washington. That's going to be all from Cave Disappointment and Dead Man's Cove in Washington. If you'd like to take pictures like this, come out with me and do a workshop or tour. Check out my website, www.jamesparkerphoto.com, or drop me an email, send me a text, smoke signals. I even take letters, doesn't matter, whatever you want to do to reach out to me, let me know, and I'll be sure to get back to you. But I run tours all over the Pacific Northwest and the world. I've got a workshop coming up next week that's in Southern Oregon. That'll be about 8 days or so. And I've got some fall color workshops coming up this year and stuff planned out for the next couple of years. So be sure to check out my website and come along with me, and let's make some great photographs. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.